As controversial as it may sound or feel, I'm going to say this. One, powerful vitamin C, great for your skin, great for your hair. It is a very powerful anti-inflammatory drink. You mix it together, the taste is terrible. But as terrible as the taste is, it's as powerful and good for the body. That's another thing. Feed your desires. Don't do everything in the name of health. If you do all of this, your hair and skin will just stay and maintain its integrity. The risk of breast cancer comes down.
But tell us about the sugar craving alternatives also for that.
90% of the time you will not have any cravings. If you do.
So the supplements that you told, are there any side effects of also there?
But don't juice them. Have them with their fiber.
I was about to ask that.
Why, bhaiya? I mean, fruits ne itna kya kiya hai? Even for men, they don't talk about it.
Problems that knock at women's door after 40 or they start knocking. So how to avoid them? Which nutrition and diets we should take? Decrease in sexual desire and vaginal dryness. To avoid that, if there any, this can be avoided through nutrition?
This is purely unsponsored, totally honest, that it's less about the food, it's more about the inflammation.
Age is just a number. Many people say this. Do you also feel that in your 20s and 30s, the energy you used to feel, the same energy we don't feel in our 40s? But if you take care of your nutrition and diet, you can also say that 40 is just a number. So today's topic is very close to many women's heart. Today's topic is nutrition after 40 in women. So as we age, our body changes hormonally, metabolically and emotionally too. So how to manage this with strength, clarity and balance? That's where our today's guest comes in. So our today's guest is a food coach, a nutritionist from over 30 years of experience. Whether it's helping clients with the hormonal shifts, improving bone health, or just stay energized for everyday life. She has the wisdom and science to back it up. So please welcome our today's guest, Mrs Anupama Menon. Hello Anupama, welcome to the channel Talk with Supermoms.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here, especially talking about this topic, which is so needed in today's day and age.
It is much needed and thank you. It's our pleasure. And actually today's topic is very close to me also. So I will also take many things from this podcast.
Absolutely.
So Anupama, so when the woman ages 40 or near to 40, so many parameters affect her body or health. So metabolism decreases, muscle mass decreases. Only one factor which increases, which we don't want to increase, is our weight. So how to manage these parameters through nutrition and diets after 40 in women?
So I always tell people one thing. The way you take care of yourself from the age of 15 to 30 reflects on how your health reflects itself between 40 to 50. And the way you take care of yourself between 40s and 50s reflects on how your health reflects itself after menopause or after the age of 50. Okay. So all in all, you have to take care of your health right from the start to the end. Now, especially during this time, like you rightly said, the perimenopausal phase, the biggest risks are to your heart and to your bone because the female sex hormones help these. So when the female sex hormones start fluctuating during this period, it's these two parameters that get affected. And that is why there is a drop in metabolism, there could be a drop in the muscle mass, there could be a risk to your heart health.
Okay.
Now the first step in this, to get your blood work done. Every single year or even every 6 months, get a detailed blood work done. Not just the usual parameters, but also your hormones. Now, how do you take care of yourself? Supplementation, super important. And not general supplementation, but understand the importance of calcium, magnesium, vitamin C, iron, omega. All of these are very, very important, but each person needs a possibly a certain brand, a certain type, a certain mg or a certain strength. Now that you need to speak to your doctor or your healthcare professional who will be able to advise you based on the blood work that you have. That's the start. Second, your food needs to be really regular. I know intermittent fasting is a huge trend these days, but for women, you will realize that just keeping a 12-hour intermittent fast does not only start from 16 hours. From the time that you finish your dinner to the time that you start your breakfast, that period is your intermittent fast.
Yes.
And keeping a 12-hour fast is more than enough for us. Eat at regular intervals. Don't skip your meals. Your breakfast is your most powerful meal of the day, but your dinner is the most sensitive meal of the day.
Okay.
And in between, thoda sa yahan wahan ho jaye to bhi chalega. But these two things need to be right. So have your breakfast at 8:30 and finish your dinner at least by 7:38. And then have your snacks in between. Don't keep yourself hungry. Make sure you're eating clean food, unprocessed food. These are the simple rules that need to be followed. You don't need to have the larger things, crazy diets like the keto or cutting off carbs completely. You don't need to invest yourself in any of these techniques. All you need to do is keep the smaller rules in place that you have learnt as children but have forgotten as adults. Keep this in place and you will be really good. The next thing is exercise. You need to do your cardio as well as your strength. But again, differs from person to person. Invest in professionals. Make sure you're not overdoing your strength. I know these days it's all about lifting weights, but you also need to recover well from the exercise. So how much cardio? How much weights? What is functional training? Do you need to invest in that? All of that requires a person-to-person adaptation.
Yes.
If you are able to bring all of this around, then, you will be able to take care of yourself.
Yes. So all these topics that you touched, we will talk about them in detail in later podcast. So inflammation is a word these days, so much into trending after the Vidya Balance video. So first tell our viewers that what is the inflammation, how it impacts the woman after 40 and how they can recover from it.
Okay. So inflammation is a protective response of the body. It's important.
Okay.
Whenever there is an attack on the body, for example, let's say you have a viral or some kind of an infection, bacterial, viral, anything, what does the body do? The body stays on guard. So the white blood corpuscles act like soldiers and they rush to you and they make sure that you are getting better. So they protect your body. That is an inflammatory response. Of course, technically, there are lots of things that happen in the body, but I'm trying to tell you this in an easy manner. For example, if you have a wound on your skin, the white blood corpuscles rush to that part and they start healing it and that part becomes warm. That exactly is external inflammation. This inflammation can be internal too.
Okay.
But for example, if there is, like I said, if there is a viral attack or, what happens is you get a fever. There is a slight temperature. That is your body healing and repairing yourself, which is very important. So that periodic inflammatory or protective response is very important. But if the body constantly feels it's under attack, that becomes chronic inflammation.
Okay.
And why that could happen? That could happen because you've put junk food into yourself, because you've not slept well. When you sleep well, your inflammatory patterns are lowered. Your body is healing and repairing itself anyway. So whenever we go outside of what we are supposed to do, outside of those guardrails of healthy principles, the body starts inflaming itself unnecessarily.
Okay.
And that is called chronic inflammation. Now, why inflammation actually happens, at what point exactly, even science has not been able to tell us.
Okay.
But of course, we will know as time goes by. We know what the basic issues are. But know and understand that making sure we are following a healthy routine, not eating your junk, not eating your processed foods. Sam's friend Simon, what is that? Salt, excessive fats and excessive sugars. If you are able to control these, remember their inflammatory patterns will drop.
Okay.
Stress in this day and age. Excessive stress can cause inflammation. So know and understand that everything that we do in our life, which is good for us, which creates positivity inside us, will reduce your inflammatory patterns.
Okay.
Now, this, like I said, I mean, you asked me what is inflammation, how do you ride over it? This is a shortscape answer for it, but this discussion can go on forever and ever.
Yeah. So supplements that you talked already about. So what kind of, in detail, if you can tell us, like after 40 in women, what kind of supplements they should take?
So like I said, what are the parameters that are getting affected? Number one is your bone health. So calcium, magnesium, zinc, vitamin D. Very, very important. Now again, the strength may differ from person to person, but generally anywhere between a 500 to 1000 mg for calcium, about 200 to 250 of magnesium, and about 15 to 20 of zinc. Now vitamin D, based on your blood work, you have to up your vitamin D to at least about 50. Everybody thinks 30 is sufficient, but you need it to be anywhere between 50 and 60. So you need to take a maintenance dose throughout the year. It shouldn't be that, you've taken your once a week duration vitamin D for about 4 to 5 weeks initially to start with as per your doctor, and then you've given it up. You need to do a maintenance dose at once a month. There is also a vitamin called K2, generally coupled with a daily dose of vitamin D. So if you want to maintain your vitamin D levels, you can do a 600 IU of vitamin D with a K2 supplement, which can be taken on an everyday basis, which doesn't allow these vitamin D levels to drop. Remember, vitamin D is super important. It's almost a hormone. It takes care of 200 different functions in the body. So it's very important that calcium, magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D are taken care of together. And all of this will help your bone health, will help bone density. And trust me, even after the age of 40, just with this, you can take care of your health. Important to know that functional training, muscle health is very important in bone density. So that's again something that you need to understand. Remember, as far as health is concerned, there's never a one-trip way, just with one solution. It's always multi-solution. Yeah. Second is your heart health that you need to take care of. So if your LDL levels are high, a mix of CoQ10 and astaxanthin is a very important supplement that can take care of your heart health. And omega supplements, super important on an everyday basis. Same thing. People think that it needs to be above 40, but if it's 60 or 70 or 80, this good cholesterol can actually help bring the poor cholesterol down. You're not looking at total cholesterol levels alone. You're looking at the ratio between your good cholesterol and your poor cholesterol, which is HDL and LDL. So omega is important. Iron.
Yes.
You spoke about energy levels. Iron is super important for your energy. It is reflective of your oxygen carrying capacity. And that is what you need for your energy level. So iron, again, very important. Vitamin C. And for women who are facing symptoms like hot flushes, a mix of vitamin E and evening primrose oil. So let's go again. Calcium, magnesium, zinc, vitamin D, and omega. A vitamin E and I said evening primrose. Iron if required, if your iron levels are down. And when we're looking at iron, remember, we're looking at iron, hemoglobin, ferritin. 3 values, not just your hemoglobin.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've covered all of it.
So any food also we can take for these supplements?
So remember one thing, food is super important. And of course, based on your requirements of carbohydrates and proteins, your diet can be planned as per that. But in today's day and age, look at the crop that we are receiving. Because of agricultural foiling, the kind of crop that you get today may not contain all the nutrients that you require in those specific quantities. The palak you got 20 years ago is very different from the palak that you got today. So supplements will stay as supplement. They will supplement your food. But their importance over time has changed. Now, when you're talking about food, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, do not try and cut off your carbs completely because you think now it's all about protein. I need to build muscle. I need to lose weight. I need to maintain my weight. Your carbohydrates are just as important as your proteins and your fats. Now, again, don't overemphasize the fats. Like I said, the media is going crazy with healthy food and nutrition, but you need to remember that balance is the most important thing.
Yes.
So when you're talking about carbs, if you are a South Indian, rice. If you are a North Indian, wheat. I know it is the gluten-free era, but trust me when I say this, that wheat and rice have equal importance in our lives. So if you are a South Indian, rice. If you are a North Indian, wheat. And then you can have a mix of your complex grains. Just avoid the white flours. Avoid processed food and avoid maida. That is super important. Okay? Then when you're coming to your proteins, alternate your proteins. Dals, pulses, legumes, one category. Then you have your dairy, where you have your cheese, you have your dahi, and you have your paneer. And then for those who have your meats, you have eggs, chicken, fish, all of this. Try to alternate them. Look at the groups that we have, right? Try to alternate them. Try to get in 3 to 4 servings of carbohydrates a day from your complex carbs, from your vegetables, from your fruits, and try and get about 3 to 4 servings of proteins in the day. Then what do you eat before your workout, after your workout? Carbohydrates, pre-workout. Proteins, post-workout.
Okay.
Do you work out on an empty stomach? Again, it completely depends on your energy levels. If your energy levels are poor, working out on an empty stomach could actually deplete your muscle. But if you are somebody who has been working out for a long time, you do have a check on your muscle mass. Even if you do a cardio on an empty stomach, absolutely no problem.
Okay.
You could even go for a weight training exercise with black coffee and 2 teaspoons of ghee because that will help you through your workout. Then your salts. You know, when wake up in the morning, a glass of water, half a teaspoon of either Celtic or Himalayan pink salt mixed in the water will actually balance out your salts.
Oh.
Yeah.
With that we can go for workout?
You can go for workout, but this I'm saying is in a general scape. I'm saying that's something that will balance out your salts. Like I said, if you are going for your workout, if you're going for a muscle training workout, make sure that you eat something and good. Could be something as simple as a fruit or just a slice of toast with a slice of cheese or oats with a little bit of jaggery. Anything is okay. But eat something before you leave. Before cardio fat tends to burn best on an empty stomach. So you could actually go on an empty stomach for cardio and that could help you. But again, person to person could vary and change. These are the general principles that must be followed.
So depends on the workout. If we are going for cardio, we should not fill our stomach with the carbohydrates and we should
because
we should eat
food
some
gives
fruits.
Correct. Because foods, when you are going for a cardio routine, what are you trying to do? You're trying to burn your fat. Right? Now, if you've eaten food, what does it release? Energy. So it's taking that energy from the food. It is not mobilizing the fat in the body.
Yes.
So that's why it's important.
Okay. So the supplements that you told, are there any side effects of also there?
So remember, as far as supplements are concerned, toxicity happens over years at very high dosages.
Okay.
Remember that. So we are talking about strength, about the brand and how you cycle your supplements. So you do not take supplements, the same supplement throughout the year, 365 days of the year. If you are taking a calcium, magnesium, zinc, you take it for about 3 months, drop it for 45 days, then take it for 3 months.
Okay.
If you are doing a vitamin E and an evening primrose, you do it for 6 months in the year. If you're doing an omega, you do it for 8 to 9 months in the year. If you're doing a vitamin C, even 10 months a year is okay because it's a water-soluble vitamin. So any excesses will be excreted from the system. So again, very important to understand how to cycle the supplements. So if you're taking the right brand, you're taking the right strength, and you are cycling the supplements, there will be no side effects. If anything, it will only help your body from damage. You know, when you're talking about supplements, you are seeing these supplements and you're saying, okay, I'm taking this. Will this have any side effect? Look inward. The kind of deficiencies you might have and the kind of damage the body must already be facing due to inflammation, due to weight, due to weight gain, due to aging, so many things that we go through. That damage will be much, much more than any possible side effect these supplements could have. It's like saying, मुझे चश्मा नहीं पहनना है, डॉक्टर ने बोला है चश्मा पहनना है, और मैं बोलूँगी, I don't want to wear specs. What will happen? it'll damage my eyes more.
Yes.
So if you don't take the right food, okay, let's say you're taking the right food, you're taking a very healthy, balanced meal on a daily basis, you are exercising, and yet there are certain insufficiencies in the body. How will you ride over those insufficiencies? That is a huge question you have to ask yourself.
So I think supplements also they should take with the help of expert advice only.
Absolutely.
And after the blood test.
Absolutely.
As you suggested, like after the blood test, whatever the supplements are needed with the help of expert advice, then only they can continue.
Absolutely.
Like you said, sometimes we should stop and then we should again start, and this much vitamin D, vitamin E. So I think that that's where experts comes in.
Absolutely. And that's very important. I mean, it's, you're not going to take an antibiotic dose without talking to your doctor. In the same way, these supplements, and why I'm emphasizing this is because there's so much information out there today, right? Everybody's talking about this supplement, ashwagandha, giloy, vitamin C. Like I spoke about CoQ10 and astaxanthin, this antioxidant, that multivitamin, multimineral, NMN these days, so many things, right? And research is continuously on the go. Right? So there's more things going to come out. But what is it that you need as an individual? Do you have brain fog? Do you need something for that? Do you have vaginal dryness? Do you need something for that? Is your bone density lower? Are you at a risk of heart disease from your genes itself? Then what kind of supplementation can I have to minimize my risk? So that needs to be followed up only with an expert.
Yes.
And do not do it yourself.
Depends on the deficiency that person is having, that particular person.
Yeah, and the requirement.
So you are suggesting that first we should go for blood test, and then every year we should go, and sometimes 6 months also if needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Like I get certain parameters done every 3 or 4 months because I know I'm at that age.
Yes, yes.
Right? So these, like I said, these hormones are constantly fluctuating. So can I have milk? Can I have sugar? For people who consume alcohol, then how much? Then for people who consume caffeine, how much? You have to be able to understand all of this. And all of this comes, the requirement or how much is it that I can. See, it's very idealistic to say, cut off milk, cut off sugar, cut off alcohol, cut off caffeine, junk mat khao, ye mat khao. It's very easy to say that. That's very idealistic. How many people can stick to all of this? But if your blood work and your hormones tell you your prolactin is high, get off the milk. Your insulin is high, get off the sugar. So if you give me 3 markers and say, these are my risks and these are the 3 things that I must pay attention to, I will be able to do it. Most of us will be able to do it.
That's truly correct. So I would like you to give the advice to our women viewers, the daily routine. When a woman crosses 40, in the daily routine, what she should eat and what she should avoid right from the beginning, when she gets up in the morning from the bed till in the night when she goes to bed for the sleep. In between, if you can suggest, so they can also guide they can also follow their daily routine according to that.
Okay, so I'm going to be very general about this because, see, one thing that I want to tell all our viewers and you, all of us who are watching, is that remember, food is very specific. See, even when it comes to our clothes, we go to the tailor, we make sure that it's the right cut, it's the right color, right? There is so much value given to specificity. But to food, we are like, okay, dairy free or gluten free or everybody can do keto. No. Food too is very specific to individuals. Something which is so intrinsic to us, we must pay attention to specificity. But keeping that aside for now, I'm going to talk about general rules, and each person has to be able to change those rules based on their requirements. Okay? So when you wake up in the morning, there has to be some powerful concoction. I'll give you 2 or 3 examples. For example, lemon shots. I have 4 lemon shots a day.
Okay.
When I say lemon shots, it's without water. So you squeeze the juice out of
without water.
Lemon. So you can take about 2 or 3 lemon, the juice from 2 or 3 lemons, add the juice from 2 avlas to it and have it like a shot.
Okay.
Powerful vitamin C, great for your skin, great for your hair. It is a very powerful anti-inflammatory drink. And it helps the absorption of calcium and iron.
So amla juice and lemon, you said.
No, so juice from 2 lemons, juice from 2 amlas. That's it. Together in a shot glass. and straight into your throat without touching your teeth, because it's so powerful, it's so strong, it could spoil your enamel. So straight into your throat.
Okay.
So you can have this.
So first thing, we can have this. Like
You
when
can
we
have
get
that.
up.
Yeah. Then you could also have, if you've heard of olive seeds, they are garden cress seeds,
No.
which are very, very high on iron. So soak half a teaspoon of olive seeds in water the previous day, along with 4 to 5 strands of saffron.
Okay.
Okay. And next day morning, add half a lemon to this, and you could have this drink also.
So same water. Or
Yeah. You've soaked it, and then, you add the lemon to it, and you can have it. This could be a second. Third could be a green juice, which could be a mix of spinach, cucumber, and amla.
okay.
Okay, spinach contains folate. Again, very, very, very important for women at this age. So it could be a green juice, it could be a lemon amla shots, it could be the olive water that I spoke about, along with the seeds you're supposed to consume it. You could also do a shot of spirulina, chlorella, and moringa powder. All of these are greens. Spirulina is one of the most powerful antioxidants. It's a seaweed and it contains a lot of micronutrients. So 1 teaspoon of spirulina, half a teaspoon of chlorella, and 1 teaspoon of moringa powder. You mix it together, the taste is terrible. But as terrible as the taste is, it's as powerful and good for the body. So any one of these, so I've named a few, but there are so many super concoctions like these. You could take one concoction first thing in the morning instead of having your tea and coffee. Remember, you've gone to sleep the whole night. Now you are hungry. The body is starving. When you wake up in the morning, what you give it first is what it will absorb at maximum capacity. Which means that if you give it, instead of tea and coffee, if you give it a powerful concoction, that is what it will absorb. And then you can have your tea and coffee maybe half an hour later. Have your breakfast. Do not skip your breakfast in the name of intermittent fasting.
Before that, I have one question. So tea is better or coffee is better?
Nothing like that. It totally depends on your, what you like. Okay. So that's another thing. Feed your desires. Don't do everything in the name of health. 80% health. 20% do what you like. A lot of the time, there are certain things that give us happiness. That is what makes us live longer and better.
Yeah, true.
So anything, tea or coffee, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Then we get to breakfast.
Yes.
So have your breakfast between 8:30 and 9. As regular as your timings are, I tell everybody, keep your food routine as boring as possible. 8:39 ko breakfast, 1:30 ko lunch. Then you have your dinner by 7:38. You have a morning mid-meal at maybe 11:30. You have an evening mid-meal by 4:35 with your tea or coffee. Just keep this regular.
So timing should also be perfect. That same timing daily.
It's half an hour plus or minus is absolutely okay. But try and keep your timings as regular as possible. The more regular your timings, the more regular your routine, the better your body will respond. Very important, especially at this age. I don't have to keep saying that, it's understood. So you have your breakfast at that point. Now, 2 or 3 days of the week, you could do all protein. And 2-3 days of the week, you could do a carb. So if you want to do your idli, dosa, whole wheat sandwiches with a little bit of cheese, whatever, you could. Then you go on to your mid-meal, which could be a green juice, it could be a fruit, it could be some nuts. Whatever you need in micro size will come in your mid-meal. Then comes your lunch, which could be a mix of 1 protein, 1 complex carbohydrate, and some vegetable. And then dinner, try and keep to either a protein or a carb. See, the mistake we make is we mix up all our meals, like the great Indian thali, a little bit of rice, some roti, then some dahi, then some dal, then some papad, then some pickle, then some vegetable, and then maybe some paneer on the side, right? Try and keep your meals simple. Eat as much as you want. But the most simple your combinations are, you will not overeat. Trust me on this. See, it's all about how you set yourself up. If you keep yourself to 1 carbohydrate, 1 protein, and 1 vegetable, you will not overeat, trust me. You'll be done. If you've had 2 fulkas, you've had maybe 2 katoris of dal and 2 katoris of sabzi, and you will be full. So you mix in the morning, you mix in the afternoon. By the night, either stick to just like a roti sabzi, or maybe a paratha and green chutney with some vegetables, or maybe like a paneer tikka or a grilled chicken with vegetables. We make sure that in the morning you can mix, in the afternoon you can mix, in the night you keep it simple. Okay, so all in all, morning concoction, a mix in the breakfast, a mix in the afternoon, and simple in the night. And if you want to do 2 days a week, you want to do just a soup, salad, and a slice of whole wheat bread or a whole wheat sourdough bread, you're most welcome to do it. Whatever you do in minimum. Don't do soup, salad every day for dinner. That doesn't work in the long run. Or don't do a 16-hour intermittent fast every single day of the week. Do it twice a week, more than enough. At this age, whatever you do in terms of hacks also, do it like pickle on the side. Just imagine if you make pickle your food, how it will be. It will be uncomfortable, right? So instead of doing a soup and salad every day, I won't eat my carbohydrates, I'll only do my proteins, I'll just do soup and salad throughout the day so that my weight comes down. It just won't work in the long run because it's not sustainable. So use all of these hacks, but in small measures.
Yeah, whatever we can do in the long run, we should do that.
Absolutely, otherwise don't even touch it. Trust me, whatever you do to gain health or lose weight, you will have to continue to do that at least by 70 to 80% to maintain those results.
Yeah.
So if you do things which are unsustainable, then you'll have to continue to do things that are unsustainable throughout your life, which, trust me, 99.9% of our audience can't. So then what's the point?
Yeah.
Then you feel bad about it. You've put in so much effort. And then later you'll give up, saying that, listen, there's no point in me doing anything.
I think you crave more after that.
Absolutely.
Like if you will too much dieting. If I have seen one of my friends, she was just having that some green juice every time, like every lunch, dinner, breakfast, that green juice only. And like after few days only, she was like, no, I'm craving for this, I'm craving for that.
And then you know what happens when you try to lose weight through these drastic methods? The weight that comes back is even more because you've lost muscle now. Now muscle is it's the most important tissue in the body. So when you lose muscle, you are leaving a gaping hole in your body which you can't see. And what comes and fits into it? Excess fat. Because now you're craving. Okay. So you're eating all the wrong stuff. So the fat comes in and deposits itself here. So now your weight has not only gone up, but your body composition has faltered, has changed. There's more fat and there's less muscle. So don't do any of these things. You don't need to.
As you told about the daily routine whole food, thank you so much. But tell us about the sugar craving alternatives also for that.
Okay, so number one, how do you avoid or minimize these cravings? If you eat, like I said, your breakfast is very, very powerful. If you eat all your meals and you eat in the right quantities and you eat at the right time, 90% of the time you will not have any cravings. If you do, dark chocolate, wonderful. Make a concoction, not a concoction, I mean everybody knows almond rocks. So you can mix dark chocolate, melted dark chocolate and slivered almonds, roasted slivered almonds. You can even make it at home and make small rocks, and you can have 2 or 3 of these in the day. Coconut sugar. My favorite is coconut sugar.
Okay.
I don't like it in my tea or coffee, and I don't have it in my tea or coffee, but I like just having a teaspoon or 2 a day. And really takes care of your cravings.
So is it healthy, the coconut sugar?
Absolutely. It's got a very, very low glycemic index. So the glycemic index is the sugar raising capacity of a food. So if the glycemic index of white sugar is at 70, coconut sugar is at a 35, which is much lower than even honey or jaggery for that matter.
I was about to come there, like replacement of sugar, the honey, jaggery, how much? Some people say jaggery also is same. Some people say no, it has better quality. So what do you suggest?
See, in terms of calories, all of these have the same amount of calories. So 1 gram gives you 4 calories, but that's not the point. How does it raise your sugar levels? So if you're looking at white sugar, that's the worst, plus it is processed. So avoid that if you can completely. Once or twice a week when you go out, you want an ice cream, you want a nice dessert, absolutely go ahead and have it. But if you're having your 2 teaspoons or 2 or 3 teaspoons of some kind of sweetener a day, when I say sweetener, I'm talking about jaggery, I'm talking about honey, absolutely okay. But for example, people could have insulin resistance. In such cases, it is better to avoid even jaggery and honey. It's better to go with coconut sugar if you have any cravings. In your daily life, try and avoid sugar if there is insulin resistance. If there is no insulin resistance, your HbA1c levels are normal, then you could have 2 or 3 teaspoons of honey or jaggery in a day. It has possibly the same effect on your weight as possibly sugar, but at least it's not processed and it's more natural. Even when you're talking about honey, not the sugar-laden honey, but the raw natural honey that you would be able to source in this day and age, then that's absolutely okay. So these are the things that you would do to take care of your sugar cravings. There are a lot of healthy options available out there. For example, I don't talk for any brand specifically. This is purely unsponsored, totally honest. But brands like The Whole Truth, they're a naked company. They will tell you what their ingredients are on their covers. They have these minis, which you can, they're like your health bars. They're these minis which you can take with you wherever you go. Fruit, our normal natural fruit, so good for your sugar cravings. Have your mangoes, have your bananas, have your chikus, but don't juice them. Have them with their fiber.
I was about to ask that. Then like juice, these days we have heard that like juice, we should not juice them.
Absolutely.
It increases the sugar level in them.
See, there are 2 kinds, right? Like if you talk about watermelon. Watermelon, whether you eat it whole or you juice it, people would say it's the same. But when you eat a watermelon, I can stop at 200 grams. But if I juice a watermelon, I need 500 grams. So that also contains fructose. So if I'm going to have 500 grams of watermelon at a sitting, it is going to peak my sugar levels. But in the case of an orange, if I eat an orange with the fiber, it will stabilize my sugar levels because it has the fiber in it. On the other hand, if I juice an orange, all the fiber is gone, and I've taken 4-5 oranges and I've juiced them for that 200 or 300 ml glass. So my sugar levels will spike.
So fruits also after certain extent or after certain limit,
better
we should not.
Absolutely. Again, balance. I'm coming back to the same thing. Balance. I will do only fruits this week. Why, bhaiya? I mean, fruits ne itna kya kiya hai? So you make sure that even that is in a balance. You can have about 200 to 300 grams of fruit, maybe 4-5 times a week. Or if you have 200 grams, have them every day. And do a variety. Do your berries. Do your citrus fruits. Do your sweet fruits too, because like mango contains fiber. So do those too. All of these coming in together makes more sense than just overpopulating the fruit in your day.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's move ahead. So when a woman becomes 40, so skin and hair becomes more dry. I have also felt that. So what we should eat so that they will stay or they will remain same as lively?
Okay. So as controversial as it may sound or feel, I'm going to say this. One is that you have to accept your age. The way I was at a 20, I can't possibly be at 40. I was stupid when I was 20. But today I've crossed 40. So at this time, the kind of wisdom I have is very different. So we accept those changes, the changes that have come in terms of experience, our mind, our wisdom. Those changes we are willing to accept, but we are not willing to accept the changes which are not that great.
And more for women, like more they don't accept.
Absolutely. Even for men, they don't talk about it. And so, one, I'm going to say that we have to accept the fact that we are aging and there are certain changes that will be there. But we also need to understand and invest ourselves in such a manner and form that these changes are minimized. So when we are talking about anti-aging, when we are talking about improving our health, from our youth to now, what is it that we can do to minimize those unacceptable changes? So like you spoke about skin and hair, good fats, very important. 2 teaspoons of ghee or butter, unsalted butter, superb for your health and for your skin. Like I spoke about those saffron strands and those olive seeds. Saffron strands are great for your skin. It's an antioxidant. It's great for your skin. I spoke about the lemon shots and the amla shots. Great for your skin and hair. Omegas for your hair. What is your hair made of? It's made up of protein. So make sure you're having your 3 to 4 servings of protein in a day. If you are working out, you have a good clean protein after your workout. Make sure that your hair and your skin are substantiated with the right nutrients and the right supplements. If you take care of all of this, green juices, alternate, like I spoke about fruits, alternate your green juices. You could have the ABC drink. You could have the green juice, that's the apple, beetroot, carrot drink. The green juice, very good for your skin and hair. All of these are supplying small things that your body requires, small but powerful things that your body requires. Your nuts, very important. Seeds, very, very, very powerful. Don't go having 3 teaspoons of seeds, of all those mixed seeds every single day. Again, maybe twice a week.
Okay.
It could play havoc with your hormones. Unless you know exactly how to cycle the seeds, make sure you're having maybe like 2 teaspoons of mixed seeds, maybe 2 or 3 times a week at max. Watch for body changes. Awareness is key. I can give you all these solutions, but you as an individual, if you are aware and you are able to pick the changes in your body, you will know what's working and what's not working. So pay attention to that. Keep a log. Something like a logbook where you know what you are eating, you are noting down exactly what you are doing. Based on the changes that you see, you will come to your own derivations of what is good for your body.
Okay.
Fish, for those non-vegetarian eaters, fish is great. Eggs 2 or 3 times a week. All of this will give you that complete protein that you need. For vegetarians, a whey protein or even a plant protein or a mix of these could really suffice those nutrients that you might need or the protein that you might need. And like I said, those powerful concoctions that I spoke about and your supplements. If you do all of this, your hair and skin will just stay and maintain its integrity.
So the protein that you talked about after the workout, so protein powder also women should take? Or
like I said, it depends, right? How much muscle mass do you have? Like if you take a DEXA scan, it can, if not absolutely accurately, it can give you an inkling or an idea of how much muscle mass you have. So if I am a certain weight, let's say I'm 100 kilos and I have 60 kgs of muscle mass, I'm not going to feed the fat, I'll just feed the muscle. So if I'm somebody who doesn't work out and I'm sedentary, even 60 grams of protein is enough. But if I'm working out, I might need 70 or 80. If I'm working out, I'm an athlete, I run a lot, I might need a little more. So that calculation will depend on your muscle mass and what your fat percentage is.
Okay. So now I will take some maybe problems or some problems that knock at women's door after 40 or they start knocking. So how to avoid them, which nutrition and diets we should take. So one by one I will ask
Absolutely.
you, just tell me maybe which nutrition and diet a woman should take to avoid these problems.
Absolutely.
So first is bloating.
So again, avoid your trigger foods. Remember that as a woman approaches her perimenopausal phase, maintaining a good gut bacteria becomes even more important. Okay, so if you're talking about bloating, if you have a strong gut, that can really help to alleviate these kind of problems. So avoid your trigger foods, get your gut strong, have the right kind of probiotics. A curcumin supplement can really help the integrity of your gut. A curcumin 500 mg supplement, which is a haldi supplement, which contains pepperin, can really help. Now, as far as bloating is concerned, like I said, it's important to look at the colonization of bacteria. So like I said, I don't want to take brand names, but any good supplement like a probiotic can really help. Now, if you're looking at natural probiotics, a beet kvass, a kimchi, anything that you ferment at home, vegetables and fruits that you can, like a lacto-fermented salsa, that you can use for your salads also. Or you can even ferment vegetables and fruits at home. You've heard of beet kanji, carrot kanji, which they do up in the north. Great products for to use as a natural probiotic.
Okay.
And then you can supplement with something from the pharmacy too.
And as you said before also, that we have to understand our body.
Absolutely.
So what triggers our bloating? As you said previously also, that fruit also can trigger someone, or dry fruit also can trigger. So we have to understand our body, what triggers us, and accordingly we have to change our nutrition.
Exactly. So there will be certain foods that leave a residue in your body. Now when something leaves a residue in your body, it's going to hurt your gut. Now that could be not just wheat or dairy. It could be rice in some people. It could be fruit in some people. It could be nuts in some people. We don't know what is causing that sensitivity, or what could be causing a reaction in your system, which you will not realize initially, but later it develops in the form of bloating or acidity. That's how the body is talking to you, saying, hey, listen, there's something that's going wrong here. You need to change that. That's the signal that the body is giving you, and you need to listen to that signal and take appropriate steps.
Yes. So next problem is hormonal imbalance.
So everything that we've spoken about actually centers around that. Like I said, get your blood test done, eat on time, eat right. If you see in your blood work, there are certain markers that are glaring there. You know whether you should be avoiding milk, whether you should be avoiding sugar, whether you should be avoiding excessive caffeine, how much seeds you should be taking, how much nuts you should be taking, eating on time, not doing too much of these fasts, which could, see, there are certain people where these fasts could actually work well. Again, it's important to experiment and understand what your body's requirements are and what works for your system. So making sure that you are doing all of this, everything that we've spoken through the podcast can really help to balance out your hormones.
Okay. And to improve the bone health, what women should eat?
Like I said, calcium, magnesium, zinc and vitamin D supplement is very important. And then, of course, your calcium-rich foods. Are you having your dahi? You're having your paneer. You should make sure that it is mixed with the right kind of magnesium foods, like your nuts and certain kinds of legumes. All of these will help to bring the balance of calcium and magnesium together in your diet. That is super important. If you don't have a mix, it's not just about the calcium. The calcium will just deposit itself in your system if you're just taking a calcium supplement. What's important is the ratio between calcium, magnesium, zinc and vitamin D. All of these needs to come together. So taking that vitamin D supplement is very, very important. A lot of people ask me, okay, can I just go and stand in the sun? Look at our ozone cover. That itself is spoiled, right? I mean, there's so much pollution outside. Are the rays reaching you? You could stand out in the sun the whole day. So it has to be a mix. Yes, get your sunlight, but you also have to have your supplement.
Yes.
That cannot be the only thing that you do.
Yeah, for vitamin D, I also agree. Not only sun exposure can give us that much vitamin D, we have to eat proper nutrition and supplements through our diet also.
And in terms of food, what contains that vitamin D, right? I mean, what can you really have? So you have to have your supplements. The choice of foods are so poor, are so minimal. So
yeah. So next is acne. To avoid acne, what women should eat?
So one important thing. The one thing that I've seen in the blood work of women after the age of 38 to 40 is high prolactin levels. Nobody even does this test. When you do your yearly blood work, it's not even included in your
so we have to ask separately.
So ask for it separately.
Okay.
Ask for prolactin. If your prolactin levels are high, you will start seeing these eruptions. And one hack, of course, there are different things that you can do. One hack, of course, is to avoid milk completely, animal milk completely, especially cow's milk. It could be coming out of excessive hormones, and hence you avoid your milk if your prolactin levels are high. Okay? A vitamin B6 supplement, 100 mg every day, will actually help to bring your prolactin levels down and hence will help your acne. Then normal skin routine is important. Anti-inflammatory concoctions again, like your lemon amla shots. that can bring your inflammation down. Acne could also be because of inflammation. So if your inflammatory markers are high, what are your inflammatory markers? At a foundational level, your ESR, CRP, insulin, homocysteine. Most of these, except for insulin, the others will be included in your blood work. So check for inflammation. If inflammatory markers are high, you could be predisposed or at risk for acne. So you need to bring that down. So a vitamin C supplement, an omega supplement, or even a curcumin supplement could bring down your inflammation. Plus, remember, when I'm talking about all this, it's all in the background of, you can't be just taking these healthy supplements and doing what you feel like doing. All this is in the background of a healthy diet, lifestyle, good sleep. So important. If you don't sleep well, it's become a norm to sleep at 1:32. Your body will not detox well, your body will not heal well, your body will not repair well. Inflammatory patterns will stay high if you don't sleep well. And sleep will always stay traditional. It will never modernize like us. You need to sleep by 10:30, 11 and wake up 5:30, 6 so that you have that sun exposure at the right time.
So yeah, I think sleep is very much underrated.
Totally, yes.
So next is cholesterol increase. To avoid that, what women should eat?
Again, your LDL levels. Check your LDL levels. LDL levels. Okay. Triglyceride levels. Both of these need to stay down and your HDL needs to stay high. Now let's say your HDL is super high and your LDL is also slightly high. Let's say instead of staying below 100, it's at about a 130. But because my HDL is like at a 70 or a 75, my HDL LDL ratio is much below 4.5. Then I'm okay. So what you need to check for is your HDL LDL ratio. You need to check for super high LDL or triglyceride levels. The minute you see this, you have to bring your lipid profile into better shape. For that, exercise, anti-inflammatory, bringing your inflammatory patterns down. It's not so much, we've been used to hearing, don't consume too much excessive fats, pay attention to your food. But research more and more today is throwing light on the fact that it's less about the food, it's more about the inflammation. When your inflammatory patterns are high, when your stress levels are high, you are not sleeping well, you're not eating right, all of these can affect your heart and lack of exercise. The minute you exercise, you put in exercise into your daily routine at a functional, organic level. I'm not saying go and exercise 2 or 3 hours a day, but even if you can get in 3 to 4 or even 4 to 5 hours of exercise every week, that itself is more than enough. I'm overemphasizing, even 3 to 4 hours. Weight training. For women who weight train, the risk of breast cancer comes down by almost 50 to 60%.
Oh, that's
with weight training.
Good.
Yeah. So exercise can take care of so many things that food cannot take care of. I can't emphasize it more than this. So your food, your exercise, your sleep. And all of this is related to your inflammatory patterns. So all this will take care of your muscle, it'll take care of your heart health, it'll take care of your bone. Remember, bone and muscle are integral, they're tied together. You need to take care of your muscle to take care of your bone.
Yes. So last in this list is decrease in sexual desire and vaginal dryness. To avoid that, if there any, this can be avoided through nutrition?
So it can. So there will be a drop in sexual desires as you grow older, and that is again because of your hormonal fluctuations and a lot of the physical discomfort that you are feeling. So it could be, just imagine you're not feeling great. Why would you have a sexual desire then? So that is bound to come down. Now again, that you don't need to accept. If I'm able to supplement myself well, if I'm able to eat right, if I'm exercising right, my sexual health also will be at a very, very acceptable level for my age at my requirement. Now, if I don't do any of these things that I'm doing in my daily activity, if I'm not taking care of my gut, I'm not taking care of my food, all of these things, it's like a pack of cards. One drops and everything drops. So when you're talking about sexual health, when we are talking about mental health, when we are talking about our gut health, we are talking about us functioning organically from, at a functional and a, cellular health level, us functioning from morning to evening. All of this is interrelated. Nothing can be seen in a capsule. And if all the stuff that we spoke about today in the podcast can be taken care of, at least 70 to 80% of the time, all of these things that we are talking about, all the problems that we are talking about can easily be taken care of. And it will just fall in place. You don't need to do anything specifically. You just need to follow this template. You just need to follow the rules, making sure that there are certain specific requirements that you're taking care of, which are very unique to you, that your healthcare specialist, your nutritionist, or your doctor can take care of. So making sure that you are aware and you're taking those steps at the right time will help to bring all of this together.
Yes. So till now we have talked about the foods that we should take, a woman should take after her 40 to increase her energy and to increase her body health. But which foods we should avoid for the woman after 40?
Plainly, I'll tell you. Okay, white sugar.
Okay, yes.
Avoid or minimize. Even if you have to have something, if you are craving for something sweet, jaggery, honey, etc., can be had. Actually, even before sugar, processed food, anything that comes in gay colored packaging, avoid like the plague. Just avoid it completely. Have your chips from Hot Chips.
Oh.
Okay, but don't have your chips from a packet. Have your ice cream from a natural place. Avoid the ones that come from a packet that you would buy from a supermarket.
Okay.
So avoid processed food. They contain additives, colors, things that our body will reject and do not need. You are putting a lot of pressure on your body to detox things that didn't have to be done in the first place. We have enough pollutants and things coming from the air around us without us literally putting things in there which our body can easily do without. Okay, so processed food, avoid. White sugar, minimize as much as you can. White flour.
Okay.
These are the things that you need to completely take off from your life or minimize. And I think just this is basic common sense. Okay? Another thing that I see people doing. People today are picking up pink salt instead of normal iodized salt. Normal iodized salt contains iodine, which our body needs. Our thyroid gland is the king of our metabolism. And your normal free-flowing iodized salt contains that iodine.
Okay.
And that is why the government, because every couple of decades, there is some kind of deficiency in the global population. At that point, it was iodine, when the government decided to iodize salt. And hence, using iodized salt in your daily food will help to, will make sure that your thyroid gland is nourished. So I'm not saying don't take the pink salt. I even gave you a concoction of the pink salt in the morning. But that is used as an extra for your daily cooking and daily requirements, iodized salt. So avoid your white flours, avoid all your processed food, minimize white sugar, and minimize excess salt. Sam's friend Simon, I spoke about this.
Yeah.
Salt, excessive fats, and excessive sugars, and trans fats, vanaspati, right? Vegetable oils. Instead, replace with like a cold pressed peanut oil, cold pressed coconut oil. You can use your olive oil for your salads, ghee, butter. Use these for cooking. I think that's my list.
So salt, as you said, so should we sometimes use white salt, sometimes pink salt, or only white?
Just use white salt. Just use normal free-flowing iodized salt, and people will come back and say it's processed. Really? Look at our environment. We are humming in pollution. So processed salt, which contains iodine, how much are we using in the day? How much is going in for that method of processing to affect our bodies? There's more than enough to be taken care of. So you need that iodine, so please use normal iodized salt.
Okay. This I think I have to also change this salt thing. Okay, so that is the end of our podcast. Thank you, Anupama. Thank you for coming here and telling us about all the concept wise, so that like conceptually we can change, and according to the body wise we can change our nutrition by knowing our body more well. So because if we will know our body, then only we can change this with nutrition and diet. Thank you so much for coming here and guiding our women viewers.
Honestly, it was truly enjoyable having this chat with you. I've always enjoyed talks like these, and I think it's important to get these concepts out there and to make all our women, we are a band, we are a tribe, we are a community,
Yes.
more aware about their health and what their body needs, their requirements, and making sure that they take care of themselves. Remember that self-care is super important. It's very important that you take care of yourself, because there's a lot dependent on you, including yourself. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. So I hope today's podcast will be very helpful for you, so that you should know your body. According to knowing your body, you can take some actions. So as our guest said, there are so many simple things which we underrate, like our sleep, our exercise, food. If we take care of all these, yes, 40 can be new 20s for us. So if you like today's podcast, please like, share and subscribe. And please forward this podcast for the women who need this and help other women. Thank you.